You never quite know when a nice evening fishing trip's going to turn into something a little more, kind of like these three people found out off the coast of Captiva Island just a few days ago when they went out to enjoy an evening of fishing when all of a sudden around 1 a.m. a family member called the Coast Guard alerting them that they never showed up back home. Fortunately, the Coast Guard was able to coordinate with several other agencies and using a float plan that they filed with their family member to be able to locate the three quickly and get them safely back to shore. Just one of the wild things we'll see in this week's episode of Boating News of the Week. Our next story to make the boating news this week is going to take us over to the coast of Turkey, where this was the scene just a little over a week ago, when the Turkish-flagged oil and chemical tanker T. Caroline was traversing the Gulf of Antalya when all of a sudden it received a distress call from a vessel in the area claiming they had lost power. The crew quickly jumped into action to try and help locate the vessel in distress. Upon arriving on the scene, this is what they witnessed. A sailing vessel which had lost its mainsail and all of a sudden suffered an engine failure as well during the same time, all while trying to battle the extreme storm conditions you see in the images here. The tanker crew quickly jumped into action once they realized the crew on the sailboat had lost all ability to safely navigate their vessel. They were able to bring the tanker along the port side of the sailing ship, but as you can see, this is a very difficult rescue as the sailboat has no way to steer, and of course, all they can do is be just pounded by the absolute heavy wind and seas seen in these images. But fortunately, due to the quick actions of the crew on board the T. Caroline, they were eventually able to get both the sailors safely off of this vessel and on board the cargo ship. This really is a wild scene to watch, and things could have gone wrong very quickly here. As you can see, one of the sailors is even in the bow of the boat at this point in time and is actually able to grab the rail of the cargo vessel when one of the large waves picks the sailboat up and brings it up to the deck level, while the captain, who's still on board this ship, is actually tossing gear from the sailboat over onto the cargo vessel as he prepares to get on board. Our next story to make the boating news this week is going to take us down to Florida, where this was the scene just this past week when a couple and their dog decided to go head out for a day of fishing off the coast of St. Augustine, when all of a sudden while they were out fishing, the weather conditions started to turn and they decided to go ahead and head back in. But as they were heading in and they got close to the mouth of the St. Augustine Inlet, the heavy following seas and the strong current collided together, and the next thing they knew, the stern of their boat kicked up while the bow turned and the couple and their dog was in the water, and when they looked back, their vessel was upside down and capsized. Fortunately, one of them still was able to successfully grab their cell phone and dial 911 and alert local authorities that they were stuck out in the water. Fortunately, the St. John's Sheriff Office was able to get a boat quickly out to rescue the couple and their dog. But this one always serves as a reminder, if you're going offshore, always make sure you've got quick, easy access to your life jackets, and always carry an EPIRB with you or some way to contact help if you need it. Our next story to make the boating news this week is going to take us over to Hawaii, where this was the scene just a few days ago as well, when the local Coast Guard wound up receiving a report of a vessel out in the bay just doing donuts. The local Coast Guard team quickly jumped on their vessel and headed toward the yacht to try and intercept it to see what exactly was going on. But while en route, they received another communication alerting them to the fact that it was believed that this yacht had actually been stolen, which kind of blows my mind. I mean, if you're gonna go out there and actually try to steal a yacht, going out and spinning donuts with it in the middle of the bay and trying to draw attention to yourself doesn't sound quite like the best plan. One of the Coast Guard officers who was on board the vessel we see here going after the yacht was interviewed after the incident, and this is what he had to say about it.
Received a phone call from Sector Command Center. The report was that there was a vessel doing donuts in Honolulu Harbor. I then received a second call from Sector Command Center stating that the boat was stolen, and we pulled up on scene with LED lights and sirens going. We went over the loud veiler and told him to stop his vessel. He then turned around and started to erratically speed out of the harbor. We then pulled up next to him and told him to come down and stop his vessel immediately. He walked away from the helm and came down, and we assembled a team to hop over. Then we got the boat into side tow. The crew did an amazing job, acting quickly. Shout out to them, and good driving by the coxswain. We were able to get the boat back safely to the pier, and we passed off the suspect to the sheriff's department. They will be charging him through the state.
Fortunately, in this situation, everybody was able to get through this incident without injury and the yacht was brought safely back to the dock. As of the time of recording this though, we still haven't received any information with the person's been charged with an actual theft of a vessel. Thanks for watching, crew. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Boating News of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening on your waterways, be sure to hit us up on Facebook or Instagram and let us know, and you might see your stories over here. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button.